Good morning, my friends. Today I am talking about lesson 11.7 in math. It's called Mental Math, Ways to Find Missing Parts. Now, for this lesson, there are two things that I want to remind you of that are already in your head. The first is up here in blue. Do you see at the top, I've got 100, 200, 300, 400. We're counting up by 100s when we're counting those. And it's really easy when it's 100, 200, 300, etc. But I want you to remember that it's also counting up by 100s if there's something in the tens place. 120, 220, 320, 420. What would be next? Tell your mom. 520, right? And then I also want you to look at the green here. Very easy to count up by tens when we've got a 0 in the ones place. 10, 20, 30, 40, easy peasy. But I want you to also remember that it is still counting up by tens if there's something in the ones place. 14 plus 10 is 24. 24 plus 10 is 34. 34 plus 10 is 44. So this bottom one here is also still counting up by tens because look at the tens place keeps changing, but the ones place stays the same. Just like up here, it's just a little easier to do these. The second thing I want to remind you is we've already kind of talked about this idea when we did those open number lines. I don't know if you remember those from a while back, and if you don't, that's okay. But for those of you who do, remember we would have a part, and then we would have the whole, and then we would have to count up to find out how many were in the missing part. So 270, count up by 100s first. 370, 470. Look how close we are to 480, so we can't add 100 again. 470 plus 10 is 480. Again, if you don't remember when we did open number lines, that is okay. But let's talk about what we're doing today. For today's problems, we're given a whole and we're given a part, but we have a missing part right over here. This would be a question mark if I had a marker in my other hand, but my hands are full. We've got 480 is the whole, 270 is a missing part, 270 is a part, and then we have a missing part right here that we have to try and figure out what it is. Now, one way you can do that is this open number line to count up. Can you see that? Figuring out that what we had to add to 270 was 100, 210, so 270 plus 210 equals 480. The other thing that we remember that we already learned is that if you have a whole and you take away one of the parts, you'll get the other part. So if we solve this problem by taking the whole, 480, minus the part we do know, 270, if we subtract those, we would get the answer. So now let's try one ourselves. Remember, when you get to the inside here, you definitely want to look at what's playing at Miss Mudd's movie theater right there, and they've given us the answer right there. So don't forget to read that. Parents, they know they're supposed to read that. Read it through once for the words and second for understanding. Now, we're going to look at number 2. We've got 350 plus something equals 610. You'll notice 610 is the whole. So it's up here in this box that's taking up this whole amount. And 350 is one of the parts, but we don't know the other part. So I've got that written over here too. One of the ways we can solve this is by starting at 350 on our open number line, and we want somewhere down the line to get up to 610. Now, I'm going to have to grab my marker. Bear with me. So step 1 is to count up by 100s until we get as close to 610 as we can, but we don't want to go over. So start at 350 plus 100 is 450, 550. If we go again, we'll be 650. That will be too far. So here we are at 550. We're going to have to start going up by tens now. 550, 560, 570, 580, 590, 600, 610. Now, all those little humps are 10. All those big humps are 100. So we've got 100, 100, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, and 10. Wow, lots of tens. So we've got to add up all those blue numbers to find out what 350 plus what equals 610. 100, 200, 210, 220, 230, 240, 250, 260. So 260 is the missing part. The other way we can do that is just by taking the whole and subtracting one of the parts that we know so we can find the part that we don't know. So of course you already know how to do subtraction. Do we need to regroup here? No, we don't. So we can just do 0 minus 0 equals 0. And remember, every time you go to another place value, you need to ask yourself that question. Do I need to regroup? Do I need to regroup right here? Can I do 1 minus 5? No. So I'm going to have to regroup. Remember, regrouping comes in pairs like socks. So if you're going to cross off one, you need to cross off another one. This 6 is going to become, do you know the answer? 5. And that one that we took away from here, we're going to add to this one here. This becomes 11. So stay in your lane. What's 11 minus 5? 6. 5 minus 3, 2. 260. 260. All right, you did it. So now here's what I want you to do on your own. I want you to work on 1 through 8 in the middle. And I want you to do, hold on, 9, 10, and 11 on the back.